Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Gross-Lee. I am a master's level student at Howard University in the School of Social Work. This presentation is being completed for SWPS 215, Social Work and the Black Perspective. This presentation will be on U.S. crime and justice policy, federal criminal justice and prison reform. I would like everyone to acknowledge the logo seen on the presentation for the United States Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs. The Office of Justice Programs is a federal agency that provides federal leadership, grants, training, technical assistance, and other resources to improve the nation's capacity to prevent and reduce crime, assist victims, and enhance the rule of law by strengthening the criminal and juvenile justice systems. Its 6 program offices, including the Office of Attorney General, support state and local crime-fighting efforts, fund thousands of victim service programs, help communities manage sex offenders, address the needs of youth in the system and children in danger, and provide vital research and data. I want to discuss the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs, vision, values, and mission. Their vision is safe, just, and engaged communities. Their values are equal justice, fairness and transparency, community engagement, strong science, and effective stewardship. And their mission is to provide leadership resources and solutions for creating safe, just, and engaged communities. I ask that everyone take a moment to think about OJP's vision, values, and mission, and ask yourself, can OJP's vision be seen in the United States criminal justice system? Does the criminal justice system reflect OJP's values? Do you feel OJP is on target to meet their mission? The Sentencing Project has stated, quote, "Our criminal justice system today is like a bicycle stuck in one gear, the prison gear," end quote. And I would like to add to that quote by stating, and it's stuck in the African American community, the community that is most at risk. The United States is the world's leader in incarceration. There are 2 million people in the nation's prisons and jails, a 500% increase over the last 40 years. Changes in sentencing law and policy, not changes in crime rates, explain most of this increase. These trends have resulted in prison overcrowding and fiscal burdens on states to accommodate a rapidly expanding penal system, despite increasing evidence that large-scale incarceration is not an effective means of achieving public safety. This mass incarceration has not touched all communities equally. The likelihood of an African American being imprisoned is higher than any other race in the United States of America. Black men are 6 times as likely to be incarcerated as white men, while Latinos are 2.5 times as likely to be incarcerated as white men. For Black men in their 30s, about 1 in every 12 is in prison or jail on any given day. This infographic shows the lifetime likelihood of imprisonment for U.S. residents born in 2001. Whereas the likelihood of imprisonment is 1 in every 17 for white men, it is 1 in 3 for Black men. Whereas the likelihood of imprisonment is 1 in every 111 for white women, it is 1 in 18 for Black women. So I ask again, can OJP's vision be seen in the United States criminal justice system? Does the criminal justice system reflect OJP's values? Do you feel OJP is on target to meet their mission? This slide shows OJP's goals. Their crime prevention goal is to prevent and reduce crime through a comprehensive approach. Their engage and empower goal is to engage and empower those in at-risk environments. Their improved justice system goal is to advance systemic improvements in the justice system. Their delivery goal is to deliver effective and outcome-driven services, capabilities, and programs. Here again I ask, is OJP meeting these goals? Some have argued that according to statistics, OJP is meeting their goals because overall crime has been on a decline. However, When those same statistics are viewed more thoroughly and through a racially minoritized lens, the answer quickly changes to no, OJP is not meeting these goals. I cannot stress enough the importance of viewing statistics through a racially minoritized lens, because in their motto, justice for all does not equal white individuals. All equals white and minority individuals. And statistics show that minorities in at-risk environments are the ones being negatively impacted the most. Our criminal justice system is not taking into account individuals' intersectionality. Many individuals who are incarcerated have mental health needs that were not being treated in the community, and an overall distrust in our government and society due to other broken governmental and societal systems, both current and historical. These individuals then sustain further trauma while trying to maneuver through the criminal justice system. How was that considered justice for all? Where is the justice for the individuals being incarcerated, their family, and their community? That raises the question, what can we do? We can advocate for policy change that actually will advance systemic improvements in the justice system while empowering those individuals who find themselves incarcerated. So let us take a look at current policy. Let us look at Title 18 of the United States Code on Crimes and Criminal Procedure. More specifically, I want us to look at Parts 2 and 3 of USC Title 18. Part 2 outlines the United States current criminal procedure. I'm not advocating to change each one of these chapters. However, I am advocating to change any of them that do not foster equality and those which do not focus on evidence-based restorative justice. The Restorative Justice Exchange is an initiative of Prison Fellowship International, also known as PFI. They are just one of a number of institutions that are advocating for a global change in criminal justice systems around the world to transition from a punitive justice system to a restorative justice system. Applying the Restorative Justice Exchange's view to the United States means advocating for our government to recognize that crime and wrongdoing break down individual relationships, but the ripple effect of those behaviors can extend the impact to include friends, families, communities, and many others. While crime causes broken relationships, it also flows from broken relationships and communities. Crime occurs within a context of deeper hurts, power imbalances, and unjust structures. The U.S. government must further uncover the initial hurts that have been ignored, suppressed, and not recognized by openly acknowledging them and taking them into account in its policies and legislations. The government must give these wounds the light and attention they need to properly heal. Justice, like crime, ripples outward. It leads to wholeness and well-being within us, our relationships, our communities, and our world. Like fishermen who mend their nets in the morning after fishing all night, justice requires that those most impacted by crime do the hard work of mending the torn nets of their relationships. PFI recognizes that justice should also address the root causes of crime, even to the point of transforming unjust systems and structures. Restorative justice is based on the idea that everyone is interconnected and woven together in humanity's netting. Therefore, we must examine and actively address the underlying issues that lead to crime and the context in which it occurs. With this in mind, the Restorative Justice Exchange definition of restorative justice is a response to wrongdoing that prioritizes repairing harm to the extent possible caused or revealed by the wrongful behavior. The stakeholders impacted most by the wrongdoing cooperatively decide how to repair victim harm, hold agencies, groups, and individuals committing crimes accountable, and strengthen the community's relational health and safety. Crime hurts everyone, and broken criminal justice systems help perpetuate the cycle of crime. Lengthy pretrial detention. Millions of the individuals who are incarcerated around the world, including those in the United States, are held in crowded, inhumane conditions as they wait for trial. Sometimes they wait longer than the maximum sentence they could receive if found guilty. Punitive punishment. Many justice systems focus on punitive punishment for wrongdoings rather than creating rehabilitative environments where incarcerated individuals can learn personal responsibility for their behavior. Some of Prison Fellowship International's greatest contributions to restorative justice occur in the incarceration stage, reshaping the experiences of those who are incarcerated to be transformative rather than simply punitive. Victims are suffering. Despite current policies in place, victims of crime in the United States receive little help to recover from their trauma. Many times they are ignored except when called as a witness in a prosecution. It is also common for the individual committing the crime to be a victim themselves. However, in the United States, they are a silent victim as their stories are not being told. Families and children of individuals who have been incarcerated often live in poverty in at-risk communities. They are often ostracized by society for being related to an individual who has been incarcerated, and they are also at risk for physical harm and emotional trauma. Restorative justice repairs harm and is best accomplished through cooperative processes that allow willing incarcerated individuals and victims to meet and explore topics such as personal responsibility and making amends. These meetings should be led by social workers. This can lead to the transformation of people, relationships, and communities. The U.S. criminal justice system would also benefit from mandatory cultural competence training for both the victim and the incarcerated individual before the two meet. Now let's look at Title 18, Part 3 of the United States Code, which deals with prisons and prisoners. I want to particularly look at United States Code 4001B2, which states, "The Attorney General may establish and conduct industries, farms, and other activities and classify the inmates and provide for their proper government, discipline, treatment, care, rehabilitation, and reformation." United States Code 4247.1 defines rehabilitation programs. It states, "Rehabilitation program includes basic educational training that will assist the individual in understanding the society to which he will return and that will assist him in understanding the magnitude of his offense and its impact on society, and vocational training that will assist the individual in contributing to and participating in the society to which he will return." Rehabilitation programs are also supposed to include drug, alcohol, and sex offender treatment programs and other treatment programs that will assist the individual in overcoming a psychological or physical dependence or any condition that makes the individual dangerous to others, and organized physical sports and recreation programs. This code also defines suitable facility. It states suitable facility is defined as a facility that is suitable to provide care or treatment given the nature of the offense and the characteristics of the defendant. I ask you all to vote today to change the language in Title 18 of the United States Code to reflect the language of restorative justice. This slide lists all the references utilized during my presentation. I gratefully acknowledge the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs for allowing me to reproduce in part the information listed on the About Us section of their website. The opinions, findings, and recommendations expressed in this presentation are those of my own and do not necessarily represent the official position or policies of the U.S. Department of Justice.